Hey YouTube fam, today we're working on 2007 Ford Crown Vic. Gotta walk around the car a little bit. It is like I said, 2007 Ford Crown Vic. You might be able to tell a little bit in the video. It is an ex-Nebraska State Patrol unit. For the guys that want to know, this was unit number
Give him a minute, he's trying to find it.
I believe this was unit 9113. This car did have two unit numbers in its life. It started out as unit number 9113, I believe. Then it ended up being switched to a different area, was turned into unit 8110.
And yes, it has a steel bumper.
Then it became a pit and maneuver training car, was renumbered a third time to unit number 2. This car will have a bunch of screen time upon me fixing it up. It's going to need this fender. And it's going to have a quarter panel replacement once I find a good quarter panel. Upgrades that I've done to the car so far, I've not completely done because of the fender. Is the blacked out headlights and side marker lights. I did have them on another unit that was 2007. Yeah, I had it on another unit that I wrecked that was a 2007. I don't remember the unit number. Both cars came from the same force. I had unit number 1, I believe it was, for pit maneuver. Same steel bumper. That car was hit on that side, all the way down the passenger side, and also this corner. I had to replace all of it on the other car. It got wrecked on the interstate one day. Rainy out, semi coming around. Any of you p71 Panther guys know, these cars and water, sometimes they don't like the combination, especially if you got kind of bald tires. It got off from under me, went around, smacked the center wall. I've had probably 20 or 30 of these units, so I'm used to the units. The video we're doing today, now this car had a spotlight on it. Original spotlight on it didn't work. I had this spotlight on it. I pulled it off for demonstration on if you guys pick up a unit and you want to put a spotlight back on it and you don't know what you're doing. If yours didn't have a spotlight, a lot of times this hole will be filled. This hole goes through the body pillar. There will be 2 screws on both sides. You'll see that in the video.
Well, if you want to know, here's the lake view.
The first piece that I always start with are these. You'll have 2 little short screws. And this bracket, I always keep spares of these because I buy these units. Even if they're parts units, I pick them up, I'll parts them out. I do not have any spare parts at the moment, as I had a bunch of stuff happen in the last couple of years and I had to get rid of a whole bunch of my parts. The starter is you take this bracket, there'll be 2 holes. I don't tighten it all the way. I keep it to where still able to move it some. You're not going to have much wiggle room, but just the factor that you can do that will help you slide the plate. It'll help slide this rod through. This rod is what helps ground the spotlight out to the car. You'll have this rod, you'll have two longer Phillips head screws. I already have the B pillar already off the car, or A pillar plastic. It'll be right here. It'll be right here. You have two tabs, one here, one here. They go right there, right there. This one, okay, this one's gonna fight me. I'll do this one a little bit different. Sometimes you can get away with putting that light on, this bracket on first. Yeah, sometimes you got to put it on. There's a piece of rubber here. You want to make sure to get it in behind the rubber, otherwise you'll fight it like I just did. Now put the outside screws back in again. Now, once this bracket's in, you can go ahead and tighten these screws down. You don't want to go too tight because you can strip out the pillar. If you strip out the pillar, it's either put bigger screws in or forget about it. Don't do what I just did. The two longer screws, one will go right here, and I don't know how well you're going to see it. You'll have another one that goes right there. I'll show you again on camera once I get them in. Sometimes you might have to pull a little bit of weather stripping out to get in there. Same thing, run them down tight, but don't over tighten them. And you can put your stripping back in place. As you can see, bottom screws there, top screws there, and it is angled a little bit. from here. Now you will have a wire like this. If this wire has been removed, well, you'll have a little bit of a fight. It might not, you can do it, but somewhere down in here there's another end of that, or just look up through, they might cut it here. But to be honest, this wire should have never been cut. If it was, if you got your car from the force, or what's the word I'm looking for? An auction, the auction were surplus. This wire shouldn't be cut, but if you got yours like second hand, somebody could have butchered it up. Like I said, that wire you'll want to keep out. You'll see what that wire is for here in a little bit. Make sure when you get doing this, you get both tabs in the proper places. Just give it a tap. Run your fingers up through along the bracket or along the plastics. Give the trim a good whack with your hand. Then from here it'll be a simple part. This piece, sometimes you can find, sometimes you can't. Sometimes they'll still be on them. This is for the cutout here in the door. It just makes it look better. You don't have that hacked up cut. You think after 100 years of cops building these cars, you think they'd have it done right. Now you'll want to take the light bar. Normally I put a little bit of lube. I don't have any with me. Just slide it in. Give it a good twist. You'll feel when it's bottomed out. You want to take your handle. These two be these two. This goes in one way. It'll go in the other way, but it'll never tighten right. You want to take the beveled end, the large end, let's cut the largest. You want to put that side in once you have it on. I'll slide the handle in, wiggle it back and forth. Then you want to take the bolt, if you have the correct bolt. Some of these had a 11 millimeter, some of them had a Allen. I've seen some even with a Phillips head. You want to run it down, you won't want to run it too tight. Give it a good test. Then plug it in, spin it around, blind your camera girl. I do have to note, I have to put this in as a disclaimer. This is for off-road use only. Do not get caught using your spotlight on the street. If you're caught with using your spotlight on the street, cops will give you a ticket. like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up.